Welcome to Legacy Boxing Promotions. Legacy Boxing Showcase is sponsored by Legacy Boxing Promotion, Pettis Collision, Ed Nunez, along with Austin Killeen. And New Era, about a week ago, I had a boxing card at Tingley Coliseum. Yourself, Daniel Pettis, and I did the commentary, and we had a lot of fun out there. We really did. We have in studio with us Josh Pitbull, Torres, the WBC Silver Latino champ, also New Mexico welterweight champ, and it's always great to have him on. Always great to have him on. We'll talk about his first round knockout. What a shot that was to Jesus Rivera Garces. And anyway, let's go over the card, Austin, because I thought we saw some really good fights. We expected some more action in a couple, and we didn't get it, but those things happen. But go ahead and break down the card for us.
Well, obviously in the main event, Josh scored a spectacular knockout with a liver punch. And having been a victim of a liver punch myself 3 times, your brain is working, but your arms and legs won't do anything.
Now, talk about that a little bit, because that's happened to you, and
right.
unless it's happened to you, and we were right there. My wife had the best view of it, really. But talk about that, because unless you've been hit, and people are always thinking, let's spar, let's get hit, until you have a plan until you get smashed in the face, right? But in this case, it was the liver. Talk about that.
Well, my first experience, I was a senior in high school. I was 17, and I was sparring with a pro, Gary Kelly. And he put me down, and I thought I was in a merry-go-round. It was just spinning, and he wouldn't let me stay there. He picked me up, and he said, you got to get up, because this is the second time.
This was a liver shot.
Yeah, and I was in agony. And he says, you got to, now just slap me, do something. But he says, you can't just stay there, because the second time you quit easier. And he made me, I couldn't believe, and he was literally holding me under my arms. And that's about all I could do with my wrist.
Didn't hit you in the head, hit you in the liver.
Oh,
and the effect in the body, and
yeah,
it was as if you got hit in the head, then, right? Because you didn't know where you were.
I didn't know. Well, no, it doesn't affect your mental thinking. That's the weird thing about a liver shot. You're aware of where you are, but your body just won't react.
Yeah. And you've been there. So again, that was an incredible shot by Pitbull Torres. We saw Garces' rib stick out, and you'll explain later how that happened, because I had never seen that from a liver shot. I'm like, why is his rib sticking out? And you got a picture. Unfortunately, you weren't able to get that, but maybe it's probably just as well, because I saw enough of that. I don't know if we want to see that. I'm not even sure that we could even run that. But let's go over the card. Let's go over a card by round, or fight by fight, if you want to do that for us, Austin. I don't know where you want to start. If you want to start in the first round, the first bout.
I don't have my glasses, so I'll let you start.
Okay, so
and I'll
in the opening bout, Andre Galarza of Albuquerque TKO'd Adam Ramirez, and I looked down, and Galarza already had Ramirez in trouble with an overhand right, and then from there on, referee Rocky Burke stopped that.
Well, I had seen him fight in the past, and he had no offense. Wasn't a bad fighter. I wasn't particularly impressed. And I saw his first win. He beat Danny Flores in a close fight. So I was shocked. He just came out, he just exploded out of his corner and destroyed his opponent.
Overhand right, that was quick. In fact, I looked down, and that's how quick it happened. Ramirez was already he was already lost.
And I had seen Ramirez fight, and he actually scored a knockout. So I thought he's the one who had the power.
Let's go to the second bout of the evening, which Clinton Chavez won by unanimous decision over the perennial veteran Anthony Hill, who's 1-28, and we didn't have the weight on him because he came in late. Hill operates with his own trainer is him, his own manager him. So Hill with an awkward style, and there's some highlights of Hill. And talk about that this fight a little bit.
Hill is a great opponent for a young fighter coming up, because he does everything. He's so unorthodox, you can't find someone to spar with that could even imitate him. When I talked to Brian Mendoza, when he fought him, Brian said after the first round, I didn't even try to knock him out, because he would have made me look like a fool. And
different angles, comes at you, southpaw, orthodox. Let's go over these other fights. Third bout of the evening, Gabriel Gabaldon, 3-0 with 1 KO at 144 pounds. TK over Derek Pettis, who was fighting at 144.8. Let's take a look at this. But Pettis fighting on successive weeks, and there's Pettis. I don't know if he was tied. I don't know.
This was a terrific fight, because he won the first round, and he was hurting Gabaldon.
He was.
Big time. And then the third round, you could even make an argument that maybe he won that round. So there's talk now of putting Derek Perez in the ring with with Anthony Hill. You know, and
Yeah,
I think that would be a terrific
That
fight.
would be a fight, yes, I'll tell you what, that would have us all, I mean, because both of them kind of awkward, and
Right.
Pettis came at it, right? He was coming forward on Gabaldon, hitting the chest, the whole thing, and then Gabaldon finally TKO'd him. Fourth bout of the evening, and this was one we thought we were gonna see a little bit more action. Jesus Peradura, at 125, he beat, I'm sorry, yeah, he won by,
lost.
no, he lost. Jasmine Hogue beat him. And you'd seen the first fight. Talk about that a little bit.
Well,
Here it is. Here's some highlights. Peradura in the gray shorts.
Peradua won the first fight pretty easily, convincing. And the rematch, I was talking with him, and I feel guilty. I might have filled his head up with overconfidence. And as well, a win is a win. Don't overlook the guy. Well, Hogue came out on a mission, and he just flat out beat him. And there was no controversy on that decision. As a matter of fact, you had a hard time finding rounds for Peradua to win.
And we looked. Yeah, you were looking. And the fifth bout, and we got some also highlights of the ABF American West title, 135 pounds. Abel Bobo Navarrete Jr., 7-0 with 5 KOs, fighting at 132 pounds of Amarillo, Texas. TKO over Jose Antonio Martinez of 11-20. Don't be fooled by the record of Durango, Mexico. And I'll tell you what, Martinez. I like Navarrete a lot. Talk about this one. The Navarrete in the white shorts, Martinez in the red.
First of all, I got to talk to him before the fight. What a nice young man he is. He's like our guest
Navarrete?
today. Yeah, Navarrete is just a classy act, and he can punch. And what a knockout.
Oh yeah, Martinez is. But again, Martinez put up a fight. We really did. And so let's go to our. We got to move on because we only got a couple of things
Right.
here. Sixth bout of the evening. Ron Angel Baby Pettis. TKO over Isao Gonzalez Carranza, and we love the way, and this actually, okay, there's Angel Baby Pettis. Angel Baby in the white shorts, Carranza in the white with red trim. Go ahead and talk, red shorts, I'm sorry, go ahead.
If you don't know what it is to be a counterpuncher, watch Angel Baby here in the white trunks. He lets his opponent swing at him, slips the punch, and then hits him back. And it's not toe-to-toe slugging. He's literally slipping the punch while throwing his own punch.
There's one right there.
Oh.
But the thing is, Carranza kept coming forward. We couldn't believe it. He didn't stop. They finally stopped the fight. Carranza, even though he was getting hit with counter, did not stop coming forward. I was impressed by that. Co-main event, Jose Luis El Güero Sanchez, unanimous decision over Isaac Luna, 5-1 and 1 KO. And you expected Güero in the gold shorts and Luna in the black shorts. Go ahead.
Fight of the night, and I criticized Luna, and I feel bad about it on TV. I thought it had gone to his head, a spectacular knockout. Afterwards, from good sources, he was injured and wouldn't back out of the fight and came here in less than...
Stellar shape.
Yeah, it wasn't that he wasn't training, he had an injury. But I don't want to take away from Sanchez's victory because he came in magnificent shape.
Went to the body well, like he always does.
Yeah.
So we'll wait to talk to the main event, and there's more action from
Right.
Luna. And we'll wait to talk to WBC Silver Latino champ Josh Pitbull Torres about his fight with Jesus Rivera Garces after these messages on Legacy Boxing Showcase.
To win the race, I can't even explain how, in fact, I'm getting goosebumps right now talking about it. No matter where you go, you're an Indy 500 winner. The only way to be successful in racing is to stay on top of the technical edge, and we've done that with our dealership. So a lot of the technology in our service department and sales processes, everything is the very latest. That gives you an edge. That's being competitive in the car business. You can take it any way you want, but that's the truth.
Car Crafters, proud supporter of Proview Sports Network.
Are you sure we're supposed to be doing this?
Don't worry, I've watched him do it 1,000 times. Come on, what's the worst that can happen?
No! Bad dog!
Hi, welcome to Car Crafters. What happened?
Don't worry, we'll make it like it never happened.
Car Crafters, it's like it never happened.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff. One scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough. Back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot. It's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of Proview Sports Network. Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of Proview Sports Network.
Get into the game with Garden Swartz Team Sales. They have everything you need, from screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing services, high school letterman jackets, and all high school and club uniforms, and individual and team apparel with the most reliable brands like Speedline, Rollins, and Wilson. And don't forget to check out the latest F7 Shut helmet. It's all at Garden Swartz Team Sales. Give them a call, 505-884-1234. Garden Swartz Team Sales.
The world-famous Laguna Burger is beautifully handcrafted. A burger that's created from certified Angus beef, sinfully cooked to juicy perfection, and garnished with New Mexico's Hatch green chili. Tempt your taste buds with mouth-watering fresh ingredients.
Cut! We're gonna need another Laguna Burger. Try the irresistible, world-famous Laguna Burger. Visit thelagunaburger.com. It's fresh with a kick. Take 32.
Jackson Compaction wants to help you keep your green and keep the community green as well. Jackson Compaction has worked hard to maintain the same prices since day one. Always easy and painless trash removal with professional crews and quality service. If it's non-hazardous waste, debris, or trash on your land, leave it to us. At Jackson Compaction, we're dedicated to ensuring the conservation of our environment. You trash it, we smash it. Jackson Compaction, we've earned a reputation for great results.
Torres Collision Center is a proud sponsor of Proview Networks and Albuquerque Boxing. Torres Collision Center offers expert knowledge on any of your auto body and paint needs. Give them a call today, 505-254-4655, or stop by for a visit at 2415 2nd Street Northwest in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Torres Collision Center.
Welcome back to Legacy Boxing Showcase, sponsored by Legacy Boxing Promotions, Pettis Collision. I'm Ed Nunez along with Austin Killeen, Killeen's Corner, any fight wrap-up, go to Killeen'sCorner.com. He had a great write-up of the Legacy Boxing Showcase recent fight, New Era. In studio with us, we've got WBC Silver Latino champ, also New Mexico welterweight champ, Josh Pitbull Torres. The champ, man, thanks so much for being with us.
Hey, it's always a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Always a pleasure. You know, in the main event, and we're going to go to some of the highlights here in a second, but you, again, a first-round TKO of Juan Jesus Garzas at 147 pounds of Aguas Calientes, Mexico, and as a vicious liver shot champ. Vicious, man. You know, and again, Austin, you've been hitting the liver. I remember, I guess, one of the fights that I saw was Bernard Hopkins knocking out De La Hoya with that liver shot. And I remember De La Hoya he couldn't get his air. He wanted to continue. He couldn't. Right. So talk a little bit about that, and then Austin's got some questions for you, but did you see anything with Garzas in film that, hey, I can get that body shot, or what led to that? I mean, it was 2:15 in the first round.
Honestly, it's not something we really planned for. I knew that I wanted to get in there and make a statement, get him out of there early, but I didn't think it would come that early. I think it's just one of those shots that it landed perfect, it landed on the button, and when you land those kind of body shots, you don't recover from them.
And he didn't, Austin.
I just figured you had an appointment and you were in a hurry to get out of the ring. We were just shocked. And
yeah.
I don't think people in the audience appreciate what the pain is of the fighter that gets hit with the liver shot, because they just splash. Is this a legitimate? But it's just an amazing punch.
It's like you guys mentioned earlier, it's one of those things that you really don't know how to explain, or you don't know what someone's going through until you've experienced it yourself, and they hurt. They're definitely painful.
I was all three times I was in the gym in my case. Thank God it never happened in the ring. Because I don't know well, I know what I would have done. I would have been a dead fish flopping on the deck.
I think the thing that kind of concerned us at ringside just a little bit, and Austin mentioned this, and you've been hitting the liver too. You've been hit everywhere, man. I mean, you're in that business, you're going to get hit, right? It's business, you get hit.
Definitely.
But I think what concerned us a little bit was Gadasas said he couldn't get to his feet, and then he finally did. Then he had the ribs sticking out a little bit. You know, my wife had the best view of it. She's right there. And so I think that's what concerned us a little bit. But thankfully, and I know what a man of faith you are, that Gadasas was okay.
Yeah, thankfully he was able to recover.
Oh, here it is. Talk about Champ, what we're looking
God.
at. Can you roll that back, Josh? Thank you. Our producer, Josh Brown, doing a great job.
Oh,
So I had set it up with an overhand right, which got him to bait his elbows up a little bit. And it's a combination that we work on in the gym over and over again. And sometimes you might wonder why we do those kind of things, why we do them so many times. But once you have done it so many times in your mind, it just comes out like second nature. And that's what happened. It's just one of those combinations that came off, you know, it flowed perfectly and it landed. And I mean, you saw it right there in the video. It's one of those shots that it's a money shot. Set it up with an overhand right, come down to the body, and your leverage is already there. So when you put that kind of leverage on that kind of shot with those tiny 8-ounce gloves, it's definitely
Okay, you stepped right into that, Champ. If you look at it, like you said, the leverage, it was picture perfect, right?
Absolutely.
Great work by our producer, Josh Brown, and our cameraman that night. They did a great job. And so, Champ, when you hit him, like you knew it was over, right? I mean, he's not getting up from that.
Well, when he went down initially, I didn't think it was going to be over. I went back to the corner. As soon as I looked back and I seen him on the mat and I seen his legs kicking, that's when I knew he wasn't going to get up.
There it
See his
is,
legs
right
kicking?
there.
That's when you know he's not going to get up. I mean, you could see it in his face that he wasn't going to recover.
His also his right arm, his left arm, his body was on it. So if I got my right from my left figured out here.
I think just seeing that for myself, just seeing that, and that, you know, a lot of people say, hey, let's box. It doesn't seem that hard, right? Let's spar, this and that. My dad did some fighting, you know, growing up. He did some fighting in the backyards, this and that. But he used to tell me about this guy that knocked him out named K.O. Sanchez. I don't know about that guy. Must have been a heck of a fighter. My old man just did boxing in the backyard. Right. Even when he was old, I'd still. But it's one thing to sit there and talk about it. Another thing to get punched in the face or in the liver.
Definitely.
Because people that think they can fight, try getting hit in the liver like that. I mean, when I saw that, that's, again, those, sometimes they always say this too, right? Hit the body and the head will follow.
Absolutely, because you can't knock everybody out to the head. There's plenty of people, including myself, that can take a great shot to the head, to the chin. But when you hit somebody in the body, and I've taken them also, it's just something different about those body shots that makes you want to go down, makes you want to quit.
Ooh, and man, we saw that as we mentioned just a week ago at Tingley Coliseum. Austin, we got about 2 minutes left in this segment. We'll come back for one more.
I have to laugh. Josh says he got hit in the liver. It's probably like hitting a brick wall. I don't even know if you've ever really been hit. I'm sure you've been hit, but your body's like cast iron.
Believe it or not, though, there's some spots on the body that you just, I mean, when you take those shots, there's just no way to prepare for it, and they do hurt, regardless of how in shape you are.
That doesn't matter, right? Those sweet spots are going to hurt anybody.
There's nothing you could do to prepare for them.
We go, okay, you know, Champ, you had some great words after the fight. We want to talk to you definitely about that. We've got one more segment left on Legacy Boxing Showcase after these messages.
Dreamstyle Remodeling has been wowing homeowners in New Mexico since 1989. Selected as Best Custom Home Remodeler for 3 consecutive years by readers of the Albuquerque Journal, we're also your exclusive provider for top home improvement brands like Renewal by Anderson, Four Seasons, Blaze King, and many others. Founded and headquartered in Albuquerque, Dreamstyle Remodeling is family-owned and now employs more than 500 people across the southwestern U.S. In fact, we've helped more than 60,000 homeowners improve their home in New Mexico, Arizona, California, Idaho, and West Texas. We're committed to providing a superior customer experience. We've earned 4.6 stars with hundreds of online reviews and have an A+ with the BBB. Dreamstyle Remodeling is a proud supporter of UNM Athletics. Visit our beautiful 10,000 square foot showroom at 1460 Renaissance Boulevard across from Sam's Club or dreamstyleremodeling.com to make your home remodeling dreams come true.
What is glamour? Frailty. What is desire? Diamonds. They say a life lived without passion is hardly worth living.
Ma'am? 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 Dang, this one made me feel all special.
Torres Collision Center is a proud sponsor of Proview Networks and Albuquerque Boxing. Torres Collision Center offers expert knowledge on any of your auto body and paint needs. Give them a call today, 505-254-4655, or stop by for a visit at 2415 2nd Street Northwest in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Torres Collision Center.
Welcome back to Legacy Boxing Showcase, sponsored by Legacy Boxing Promotions. Ed Nunez, along with Austin Colleen in studio. WBC Latino welterweight champ, also New Mexico welterweight champ, Josh Pitbull Torres. And Josh, after the fight, you had such a great message, to the community, and you always do. You did that up at Route 66, and it's always a message for the city, for the people. I really got a lot out of it because Albuquerque has its issues, right? But you know what? You're trying to change them here, right? You're the future. We need young people to try to change, and the message was for everybody, right? You're right. So talk about that a little bit, because again, you're a fighter, you're a boxer, you love what you do, but talk about the message with the community and what you're hoping to accomplish and what people might have heard.
Well, I think it's just really important for us as not just athletes, but just anybody in general to use whatever platform that we have to just take advantage, to use the message to inspire people, to, promote positivity, like you mentioned, with all the, crime and the negativity going around in our city and in our state. I think it's time that we come together as a community and make a change. And I think that we can do that if we're inspired and if we just, spark that flame in somebody's mind to make a change. And I think we can start to start that process.
One heart at a time, baby. We always say that, right?
That's right.
One at a time, Austin.
Well, when you gave that speech 2 summers ago, I was out in my backyard and I heard a car tire backfire, but it happened quite a few times, and I thought, so I didn't think it was a bullet. But my very next street, a woman and her 3 sons were shot by her ex-boyfriend. He killed the 3 sons, put her in a coma, and then he shot himself. So when you brought up that about the crime, I just thought of that incident. And then that night I'm watching the news. Oh my God, that's what I heard. I was watching the news, and the poor woman, she woke up, came out of a coma 4 days later to find out, obviously, that she no longer had 3 children. How do you deal with something like that? So I thought it was beautiful, and using your fingers. And unfortunately, I couldn't see the replay of that. So when I wrote my column, I was using my memory. So I hope I did you justice. But I thought it was a great presentation that you did. And coming from you, you're a tough guy, but you're a tough guy in the right way, not the wrong way.
That's a good point. I think and it was a great message. I think a lot of people got a lot out of it, like they always do. But I want to ask you this, what's next for Josh Pitbull Torres? And I got to say this too. I think your message is, hey, if the fights happen, good. If they don't, that's not what you're just hanging your hat on, like your life's over if they don't. You know how this business is better than anybody, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
You know how it is. You're making your climb, you're making your ascension, but you also know how the business works. But what's next for Josh Pitbull Torres?
Right now, we're just being patient. We know that we're one phone call away, one fight away from a big opportunity. So we just have to stay ready. We have to stay in the gym, stay hungry. But like you mentioned, even if I never got that opportunity, I'm gonna be okay. I'm enjoying the ride. I feel like life is more about, the journey than the destination. And that's where we're at right now. We're enjoying the ride, inspiring people along the way, hopefully promoting positivity and putting out good messages for the next generation to follow. I think that it's no coincidence that we're fighting under the Legacy banner, because that's what it's all about, leaving a legacy and just paving the way for the next generation.
I'll tell you that you see that at 30, like I told you, you're an older soul, and you're seeing outside the box because a lot of people at your age, they can't, right? We're seeing in front of us. That you see outside the box is incredible, because you're right. Your legacy, people will already remember your legacy, and you've still got more to give, much more. And it's just not boxing or fighting, and that's your platform, right? You'll use that platform to get your message out, which is beautiful. Beautiful, because there's a lot of people that look up to you, right? You know they do. They sure they do. And they might want to be you, but they're seeing you in a way saying, hey, let's bring the community together. It's not just about Josh Pitbull Torres. Never has been.
Never been. It's always been about people. I believe that I'm in that ring, not fighting for victories, but fighting for souls and fighting for lives.
Man, it don't get no better, Austin.
Getting to the financial end of it, someone's got to sell tickets. Yourself and Fidel Maldonado are amazing at moving tickets, but whoever's in third is so far behind the two of you. What is your secrets that you can sell so many tickets? And a lot of fighters will say, I don't want to sell tickets, I just want to fight. But if no one comes to the arena, there aren't going to be any fights. So,
well, there's no secret. It's been a long journey, Austin. It hasn't come overnight. I've been on the undercards, struggling to sell, 40 or 50 tickets myself. So, it's been a long road, and we've worked hard. We've never given up. We've continued to work hard in the gym, fight hard. And I think the people know that, and they appreciate that every time I step in that ring, I put my heart out there, and I give a great show. And that's what the fight fans want, because they're in there spending their hard-earned money. So I think now that I'm in the position that I'm in, we're starting to see a bigger fan base, starting to see not just fight fans, but people that want to come out just for the event itself, just for something for the family to do. And I think that's a great thing for not just New Mexico boxing, but all sports in general.
Well, you and Fidel obviously are good friends. And do you ever talk about it amongst yourselves? Because the two of you it's amazing how many tickets the two of you sell compared to anybody else. Just having you on the fight card, half the time it guarantees they're going to break even. Same with Fidel. Is there any secret to your, because you're never complaining, I never heard you complain, well, I can't train right because I got to sell 13 more tickets. I never heard you use that expression, or him.
Well, luckily for me, I have a lot of help. I have my wife, my mother, a lot of friends and family members that help me promote, help me sell tickets. So it's not all me. I can't take all the credit.
Right.
But at the end of the day, I'm the fighter, and I get in there, and people want to see a good show, and that's what it's all about.
One of the things I'd like to see in boxing is to have a learning session where you invite the fighters in, and you might have a session on how to talk to the media. And one of the sessions could be, how do you sell tickets? And you and Fidel would be at the front of the room. And you just gave a hint right there, involving certain key people in your family are helping you to move tickets. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what his trick is, but he obviously has figured it out too. And I know in the last few fight cards, they haven't made profits. And the fighters have to realize they got to sell tickets.
Yeah, it's a definitely tough business. Got one more question for you, champ. We got to wrap it up. But what do you think, when will we see you again?
Definitely early next year. I promised the wife that I'll take the holidays off. I got a big birthday coming up on Christmas Eve. I'll be 30 this year.
All right. That's
so,
great.
Just resting, letting the body rest. And then we're going to get back to work right away early next year. Expect me in the ring no later than March.
Okay, so just a couple more months. Well, that will be it for this episode of Legacy Boxing Showcase for producer Josh Brown, Austin Colleen, WBC Silver Latino, and also New Mexico welterweight champ Josh Pitbull Torres. I'm Ed Nunez. We'll be back in 2 weeks for another episode of Legacy Boxing Showcase.